is just 3 years old, and Tatum said that he thought back to his mom and how she must have felt when he left the house in high school. He said, quote, "I didn't realize all the things she had to worry about, just praying that I would make it home. And now that I have my own son, I understand the feeling of just wanting him to be safe," Mark.
Yes, it's a concern for the African-American community. And, you know, the initial headline and police report said man dies after medical incident during police interaction. No, Derek Chauvin was convicted of murder, folks. And, you know, police use over 3 times more lethal force against black people per capita. So, you know, you think about my numerous close friends in law enforcement, guys I go to games and guys I go to church with agree that this is something that has to change. There's a problem, and we hope for a better America moving forward. Irving up court. Here's Jeff Green.
Fournier is in.
Yeah, Fournier. Coach, what does he bring to the Boston Celtics, and what need does he satisfy for them right now moving forward?
Well, when they lost Gordon Hayward, they had a big void from a talent standpoint in scoring. And Fournier is a very competitive defender. He's got good size. He can run pick and roll. He can make threes. So he's just a huge talent upgrade, trying to fill, like, over the last couple years, they've had some talent erosion. He is a guy who can help them in a playoff series match up and have enough talent to move on. I think if they're healthy, Brad Stevens says they can be a nuisance. I think they can be more than that. They can win series in this year's playoffs.
Okay. Well, Fournier back for the first time in 10 games. Played several games before sitting out due to health and safety protocols, driving the baseline, and will go to the free throw line for a couple of shots. He's a very potent three-point shooter at about 39% from downtown on the season, overall at 46%. And on the year, averaging a career high. So the Celtics pulling the trigger on a deal and hoping to get a nice bounce off the bench offensively from him. 28 years old, the 20th pick back in 2012 of the Denver Nuggets. I mean, here's a guy that has averaged at least 17 points per game in each of the last 5 seasons.
He and Nikola Vucevic were the main reasons that Orlando was a playoff team the last 2 years. He was very, very solid.
Boston leading by 1. Past the midway point of this first quarter. Harris off the screen. Strong drive, whistle, foul, and Bruce Brown will go to the free throw line for the Brooklyn Nets. Bruce Brown, the second-year pro out of the University of Miami. Brown going to the free throw line.
Where else can you make a fast break from one live game to hundreds of others? Where can you watch it?
Brown, a 75% free throw shooter on the season. And it was interesting, Jeff, in speaking with Steve Nash recently, he said, Mark, how many 2 guards would accept a role as a roll man in a pick and roll, playing the role of a 4 or a 5? I mean, he's checked so many different boxes, Jeff, for this Brooklyn squad this year.
You're absolutely right. Defender, cutter, rebounder, roller, and occasional spot shooter. He's had a terrific year. And usually when you're a role player, your terrific year starts with the mentality of role acceptance and doing what's asked.
Great point as Tristan Thompson goes glass, banks it home to give Boston a 3-point lead. The Celtics only shooting 39% from the field, albeit early. Kyrie missing the elbow jumper, rebounded by Thompson. Upon joining the Celtics, Tristan Thompson said, "I want to remind everyone who one of the hardest working big men in the game is," and he punctuates that point with an outstanding tip-in on the offensive glass.
Well, he's always been an elite offensive rebounder who can move his feet against guards.
Did a nice job there, coach, against Kyrie. Kept him in front. Jordan on the offensive glass. Harris on the drive and the layup. Nice finish by Joe Harris.
Yeah, he's really improved in that area. Putting it, he's an elite three-point shooter, but now he puts it down when you close to him hard.
They miss on the pick and roll connection. Irving misses a wild, out of control shot. And back quickly come the Celtics. Smart for three. Thompson with another offensive rebound, whistled and fouled underneath. Tristan Thompson with tireless work underneath for Boston.
Well, when you have dribble penetration, obviously you can score on the initial shot, but what it does is bring DeAndre Jordan to the ball, which leaves Tristan Thompson unimpeded going to the offensive glass, and he got the tip in.
That's the third team foul against Brooklyn. Personal foul against Luwawu Cabarrot. Talked about his offensive rebounding. Tristan Thompson telling me a little bit earlier that his ultimate goal this season, besides helping his team win basketball games, is to be a member of the NBA's all-defensive team. Says he's been inspired by his teammate Marcus Smart, who was an all-defensive team member a season ago. Mike James just checked into the ball game. Recent signing by Brooklyn and general manager Sean Marks. There he is, number 55. Mike James has a little bit of NBA experience on his resume. Played with the Phoenix Suns recently, and this is his first NBA game since that time in 2018. But folks, this guy was highly regarded as maybe the best player in Europe the last couple of years, recently completing a stint with CSKA Moscow. He and head coach Itoudis had a reported disagreement, and James subsequently signing a 10-day deal with Brooklyn. Look at Blake Griffin, who just checked into the ball game as well for the Brooklyn Nets. Hey, Jeff, what's that like as a coach when you don't even barely get to know a guy and you check him into the ball game like Mike James is in there now? I mean, what's he to do? And he surely can't know all the plays.
No, and so you're just going to be playing in flow, playing pick and roll game. And so it's obviously not ideal. Steve Nash said he didn't even meet him until earlier this evening as Naismith makes the pull-up.